Don't film this. I'm trying to do a knot behind my back. It's fucking difficult. Trying to be dexterous. I'm just, I don't want to get my sleeves in the food. Shall we start though? Eat some drinks. How are you, Salty?
I'm good.
We're making steak.
Nice.
We're making cheap steak. Have you ever heard of an Oyster Blade steak?
Yeah.
What do you know about it?
That I've never had it.
Okay, cool. Oyster Blade steaks, you can get them cut two different ways, if you want to zoom in on that baby. See this big, thick thing in the middle there? It's like, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's kind of like cartilage. And people don't love cartilage. So quite often they cut them sort of side, like down there, and you get like a strip of them. I think it's called a flat iron steak in the US. Or they get cut like this, like a front top steak. I really like them. They're cheap as shit because they're not. There's a bit of cartilage in the middle. No one wants to buy that. This chunk of steak here was like $5 for one. The good thing about them is they're really tasty, and quite tender. Like there's still quite a bit of marbling around it. You can cut that bit out if you want. I just leave it in because it's tasty. People love, what's that word? Tenderness. Like pulled pork, for example, it's mushy. I don't like it. Like texture, I think we've kind of gotten away from texture in meat, in the chase for tenderness. And I think, a little bit of texture is kind of good. A little bit of crunch. I had chicken cartilage skewers the other day. They were delicious, really tasty. So I don't know. Don't be afraid of texture. Tasty. I don't know. What more do you want from a steak? You can slow cook these as well. A lot of people do that, like you would an osso buco or like a gravy beef chuck steak kind of thing. I kind of find that takes a lot of the flavour out. So yeah, cook them as a steak. I used to cook steaks for a living, Salty.
Really?
Yeah. Used to work in a restaurant that did just mostly steaks. So I've got a few steak hacks. These days, the way that chefs do it is to turn constantly. You've seen that, they're turning it every minute. And what that does is the juices kind of pull out from the steak to the top, and they flip them, and it kind of keeps the juices in the middle. I don't do that method. What I do is I kind of start cooking and watch for the juices to rise, and you'll start seeing as you're cooking little spots of blood popping up. Once you start seeing maybe like half a dozen, turn it, do the same on the other side, wait to see little spots, and that's going to be rare to medium rare, basically. And that's how I like to eat my steak. I'm going to put these on. Make sure you start with a hot pan. If these were thinner cuts of this steak, I might not have the pan completely up high, just because of that big bit of cartilage. You kind of want to cook it a little bit longer so it kind of renders out a bit more and doesn't stay so gristly. Because it's quite a big bit, we want to cook it hot, and it will keep it'll have enough time to sort of tenderize that thick bit in the middle. Don't panic. Don't panic about your steaks. It's the same with all food. Like if you've got a good bit of steak, you've treated it well. So I brought these up to room temperature, which I don't think you have to do. People say that you have to. I've seen some tests that say it doesn't matter at all. The difference in temperature between your fridge and ambient versus what you're blasting it with in the pan is kind of negligible. It's a good bit of meat. Just cook it and eat it, really. While that's cooking, we're going to make a martini. So check out the link below for a lambic martini. Not a traditional martini, we're going to use some beer. So that one. You can see the blood popping up there. Starting to pop up through. I'm probably going to leave this a little bit longer, just because it is so thick. Here's the cocktail we just made. You had your first martini, Salty.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It's good.
Yeah, it's yummy. I was going to say something about the steak. Oh, use your judgment with steak. Like, I hate how recipes always say to use, do it, 2 or 3 minutes each side. That's such a, that means nothing. really. You don't know how thick your steak is, you don't know how hot your pan is. Every bit of meat's different. Get used to looking for that blood popping up. Give it a little poke, and you can kind of feel how springy it is. I don't know, I really like my steaks quite rare. But the thing with, I guess if you are leaning towards rarer, is just rest them. Like rest your steak for as long as you can, and that kind of helps that blood settle in. It's not actually blood, it's whatever it is.
A lot of people are like, oh, I don't like blood in steak.
Yeah. Was it hemoglobin?
Right.
So I think it is, I mean it is part of blood, but it's iron basically. And it's still in there. You just see it. And I guess some people are, afraid of blood, or it gives them a reaction, which is probably a lizard brain reacting to something. But yeah, if you rest your steak, all of that kind of it's going to stop running around the plate, and when you cut into it, there's blood everywhere. It'll just settle in, and going to get back into the meat, and you'll just be left with nice pink meat. Yeah, delicious meat. Don't overcook your steaks. I know some people say they like them well done, but I don't think you do really. I'm going to move that there. You can kind of see a couple of specks of blood kind of running off there. That's just all the juice running up through. Once we rest it, that's going to hopefully settle back in. If you've got a couple of little tips, if you've got a lot of herbs and stuff left over, like parsley, thyme, rosemary, stick them in there as well with your steak if you want. Really, it's just going to, create a little delicious herby little kind of sauce with all the moisture. We'll wrap that up in a nice got a little damp tea towel here. Keep it nice and warm, a nice little bed for it. Just, you don't need to rush these things. Take your time. Cool. It's been resting for maybe 10 minutes. It'll still not be nice and warm in the middle there. Next week we're going to be doing a mustard video. Here's some lacto-fermented mustard that I made. So we're going to serve that with this. Steak, mustard, can't go wrong. God, I hope I didn't fuck this up. Imagine if it's all fucking super well done and I'm like, oh. Let's get that nice biggie out. Look how good that looks. But nice and rested, it's not running all over the place. It's going to eat a bit. That was so toasty. So you can see the big bit of cartilage in there. You can cut around that when you're serving it if you want. I don't mind it, it's texture. Nothing wrong with a bit of texture. I'm going to do a smear, Salty. Get ready for the smear. Oh, didn't quite work. My mustard's too thick. Smears are out of fashion now anyway. How good does that look for a $5 steak? Well, it's so unattractive. Make that. Make this. Check out our socials. Come back next week and I'll teach you how to make mustard. See you soon.